If you've played The Long Dark since the release of the Broken Silence update in early December 2024, you might have noticed that you can no longer cook unique recipes with ruined ingredients. Sure, you can still cook that slab of ruined meat by itself, but you can no longer make a slimy, unappetizing meat pie with that hunk of frozen meat goo. For a few months, the community has wondered when Hinterland would fix what seemed like a bug. After the 2.40 hotfix on March 19th, 2025, I spotted this posted by u/ILikePocky456 on the game's subreddit. According to a comment by the player support account for the Hinterland forums, it wasn't a bug, it was an intended change. And then came the panic and memes as with any breaking news or community crisis. So here is what I have to say as a fan of the game and a fellow game developer. Hinterland made a design choice that I agree with, but the way they released it I do not agree with. I agree that you shouldn't be able to cook with ruined ingredients. If the trader is not willing to accept subpar meat for a trade, and if the meat curing box cannot cure subpar meat, then we shouldn't be able to cook with ruined cooking ingredients. As of the Broken Silence update, the trader offers a way to acquire the core cooking ingredients needed to survive, including flour, oats, and cooking oil. He also offers canned corn, which was previously exclusive to the Far Territory, and bunkers. Cooking oil can also be acquired by rendering animal fat in a skillet. The only thing I would like to see changed is the inclusion of potatoes and carrots, since they are limited with no source outside of kitchens, vegetable drawers, and the odd trash can with a moldy potato. Seriously, I've seen way too many perfectly good potatoes in trash cans. Who does that? Additionally, I'm not sure if he does this already, but canned peaches should be offered by the trader as they are a part of a recipe. Basically, any cooking ingredient that is limited outside of their normal spawns should be offered by the trader. Most of them are, but there are a few critical ones that are missing. Now comes the not fun part of this change and why I disagree with it. The manner in which Hinterland implemented this change was done out of order. Let me explain what I mean. From what I can tell, there has never been a dev diary, patch notes, article, or announcement saying this change was going to be implemented with the Broken Silence update. I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is another case where communication between Hinterland and the community was desperately needed. The reason a change like this needs to be communicated ahead of time is because it can have a devastating effect on older save files, especially Interloper and Misery. For anyone going through a stockpile of ingredients of varying conditions, this is a game-breaking change. It also doesn't help that half the cooking ingredients are already ruined by day 100 on most difficulties. For my Something Wicked playthrough, which is around day 165 on Stalker difficulty, almost every maple syrup, canned peach, potato, or carrot is already ruined or near ruined. For Interloper and Misery playthroughs, I can only imagine how much of a setback this change must be. Not only is the lack of communication about the introduction of this change a problem, so is the lack of foresight for its devastating effects. In an ideal world, Hinterland would have added an internal setting that only affected existing save files, preventing the change from taking effect. This is the type of change that should have only affected new saves, similar to when Scurvy was initially added. Unlike the change that later made Scurvy optional, I do agree that this change should be permanent at the very least across new save files. I just wish it wasn't confirmed to be intended months after its implementation. Hopefully, Hinterland has received enough feedback on this change and the delayed reveal of its intended existence and chooses to do it right next time. It's changes like this and the addition of Scurvy that need to take into account the effects they could have on the game, both for old and new save files. And once again, communication is key. It needs to be communicated weeks in advance of the arrival of such a change. If you enjoyed this news video for Hinterland and The Long Dark, please make sure to leave a like for the algorithm so I can keep making them. Also, be sure to subscribe and check out my long-running lore series for The Long Dark, covering topics like Wintermute, the Tales trilogy, the history of Great Bear Island, and more. There are various playlists in the description for you to explore.